Yo, in. Oh, Shane, may I need to tell you something real quick before the stream start. I may not stay as long because, today I gotta go out, s- start driving. So I'll stay in probably 10:10, and then I gotta dip, alright? Alright, cool, alright. Well, yeah, I just wanted to pop in and just let you know so that way I don't get you, like, scared and say, oh, where did he go? Alright, alright, yep.
Okay, good morning. So, not a whole lot to talk about today. I got some updates on the project. I'll share some pictures of the project where we're going. We got rebar around our big pipe that we're doing. Finished off some trenching at the end of the project. I got a little wiggle in my ditch. I got a picture of that. Just kind of explain how that happened and what could have been the problems. And I'm currently working on a video for the channel. It's going to be a short one, probably about 8 minutes. I'm actually working on it right now. Let me see where I'm at on time on it. Yeah, it's about, it's going to be about, it's going to be around 4 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes. So it's not going to be a long one. It's a short one. I'm just talking about how, as a mainline operator, you want to share your experience or share your knowledge with the people you're working with, laborers included. So if you've got somebody that comes up to you and says, "Hey, I wanna pull the sticks for a little bit," now the situation dictates that. If there's time and you're in the right situation, you can let a ground man or someone or another operator say, "Hey, come here, I gotta go to the bathroom," or whatever. Throw them up in the machine and let them dig a set or two while you're doing whatever. Now, for me, if I'm far enough ahead of the ground crew and I don't have to worry about them catching up, and there's nothing around that anyone can hurt or anything, you want to throw them up there, let them get up there, and give them a little advice, let them have a little fun for a few minutes, and then you move on with your day. And this week, my ground man, Manny, he had asked me, "Hey, can I take a couple of scoops with it?" So I said, "Yeah, jump up in there." I'm far enough ahead. I don't have any worries of anyone catching up. So I just said, "Yeah, jump up there." I got some video of him just pulling some levers and trying to do what I do, and it's really fun to kind of watch it because what happens is you have your ground man that looks at how you do everything and then gets up there and goes, "Oh my god, I can't do what you do," and it really does. It helps make your bond between the two of you a little bit better. He has a better understanding of how hard it is to do what you do. and it he gets to have fun for a few minutes, and then he feels better. It's just better overall for the crew, for you, for him, and he has a little better understanding of what's going on up in the machine, and it just makes him happy. And plus, it was a warm day. It was a little hot, so he got to sit in my air-conditioned cab for a little while he did it. So, anyways, that video will be out probably later today. It should take me about an hour and a half to finish polishing up, doing the blurs over logos and vehicles and stuff like that. So I'd like to preview what's going on. Maybe I can give you like the first 10 seconds of it today. I have just one little clip that I might be able to show you, but you won't really be able to see it very well through the editing software. So, if you guys have any questions, I don't know how many people are on stream at this time. I can't really tell. I've got 5 guys watching. Sweet. Okay, so I am going to minimize that out. I'm going to open up some files here and get started on showing you guys what I have going on. If I can find them. Okay, let me get this set up for you. Like I said, guys, if you got any questions or anything at all, go ahead and shoot them out at me. Oop, not the right. Okay. Transition over. All right, there we are. So what we've got here, if you remember before, we had we have the big pipe, and now we're starting to we've got our holes cut in it, and now we've got our pipe, the inlet pipe coming into the main sewer line. It's an 18-inch line that's going to go to another manhole that transitions to a drop manhole. So we have our force main that comes in, then we go through some valves, and then we transition from a pressurized system to a gravity feed system, which will hit a manhole, which will 90-degree over and dump into this pipe that's connected here. And so you can see the rebars going in. There's a little chamfer angle here, so it's not square. So you got your 90 here and then a couple 45s here for that connection point. Now this cage will wind up going all the way up and over. So you can see there's some cage being built on the other side, and eventually it'll come all the way across. You can see this is the other side. Let me see which picture are we on. Okay, and that's the expanded view there, where you can see the whole hole. So we'll go to the next series of photos. So this is I think 2 or 3 days later. There we go. So they've got all the cage built. You can see the rebar that goes over the top here. We've got forming beginning to happen. So you got forms going in all the way around. You can see what's going on. You can see our tackle blocks here that are holding up the pipe, making sure it doesn't sag or anything. We don't have any problems with that. All this is, the bogey carts are all pinned off so they can't move. They can support the weight. They're pretty tough. Another shot. and then here's the other side where they're starting to close in the end of it. And I think this week we're actually going to get around to pouring the concrete and closing this in and putting a top on this over the manhole opening, so that way we can start stacking our material. And now we're starting to get into a pressure, high pressure system where we're starting to get, we have our deadline that we have to meet, because they're going to open this main sewer line and start allowing the sewer to flow again here in this next week. So we have to get this system done. Yeah, that's. Oh, what was that? Waylon? Yeah. A lot of people, when they don't realize how hard running a piece of equipment is until they jump in the seat. And I love putting guys in the seat and letting them pull the levers. And I've had my foreman, Andy. If you go through all my history of videos, he's in most of them. And one day he just was on the job, and he was looking up at me, and I just get up and I just start pulling on the levers, and he's like, "Do you even think about pulling the levers?" I go, "Nope." I just do it. It literally becomes part of your being. You just know it's no different than moving your hand. It's just you're moving a lever to make the machine move, and you just don't think about it. It becomes an extension of you. Oh, just some more pictures of the same thing. So that's all I've got for those. Now, let me see. Alright, so this is early in the morning. First thing in the morning, we're setting up. Now, way back over here, there's a little wiggle. Now, I got some better pictures of that wiggle. And it's kind of, if you see the transition in the grade, and also the grade goes back and forth, I'll explain why. I'll get my little demo machine, and I'll explain why when you're going through, and at the end of my videos I say keep your butt level and your ditch straight. Well, keeping your butt level will help keep your ditch straight, and I'll explain why here. So, when you're digging, this will be a, oh, if I can get this thing to move. It doesn't like moving much. My other one likes moving. But anyways, so when you've got this machine, let's go to the big picture. All right, so when you've got your machine setting on the trench in a straight line, you're digging, you're in a straight line. But when you tilt your machine a little bit, the bucket comes off center and it goes off at an angle. So when you're reaching down, this one's not very good because it's only going a little bit deep. But when you tilt, that changes your ditch line. So if you don't keep your bucket level, or you don't keep your butt level and the machine level, what happens is that bucket at the bottom, it swings out. So this is a better representation. So as it swings out, your machine stays in the same place, but your bucket now is going at an angle and has moved the trench line center while you're digging. So that's why keeping the rig absolutely level is so important. And for the most part, that's one of the hardest things for some people to do, is they just don't understand that keeping the machine level is one of the main parts of being an operator or digging trench. So you'll see guys that come out and their trenches wander around like a snake, and the reason being is because they don't take the time to spin around and throw some dirt behind you and level it up. And what happened here is that's where I had started or connected with the previous operator, and I just took off digging and got out of whack, and then you can see I brought it back on center, and then the rest of the trench is straight. Now this is in the morning, so I'll take off and I continue on, and I managed to keep the rest of it straight. But even the best guys have a little issue once in a while. Let's see what else I've got. I think we talked about this before, maybe, but compaction's a major thing, and actually, I have photos of what we were doing. Oh, I don't know where I put them. I probably did not prep those. Because once I finish digging, we go into I go back into a compaction phase and start doing compaction. Let me see, make sure I got these. Okay. So when you get back into compaction and getting your stuff going, you finish your trench, and we get back into compaction. So your first lift goes in. We usually wheel it in with a compaction wheel because the Rex or compactor is too large to fit in the bottom of the trench, even with a V'd open trench. A couple of different things you can do is you can actually get the excavator in line with the trench and dig the walls and make the bottom wider, and then use the material that's already in the ground, just fold it into the center and compact that as you go, and then you track back out, and then you can throw your bigger lifts in with the compaction compactor. So this is the compactor we're using, water truck. I don't have any pictures of us using it, but that's what I was running Friday. And just throw dirt in the hole, you run over it, make it level, and make it look pretty when you get to the top. So that's about all I did this week. It wasn't anything fancy, nothing exciting. So like I said, I don't have a whole lot to talk about today, but if you guys want to throw some questions in here, please throw some questions in so we got something to talk about for a little bit. We're about 20 minutes into this. I'd like to get 30 minutes. And I can search through my photos here and see if I can find something, which I have something on my desktop to talk about. Oh my God, that made it easy. So, compaction, continuing with the compaction deal. If you do a job and you don't get the proper compaction moisture content in your material, this is the result. You wind up with a street that can fail, and it settles, and now you're coming back to repave a road where people live now, and it becomes a major problem. One of the other projects we did up in the hills, previous company had come through and they had just failed all the compaction on services that go from the main line to the houses. So it was like an endless drive of speed dips, because they weren't bumps, they were dips. And I heard a story that excuse me, I heard a story that one car had crossed over the top of a manhole, and the ground around the manhole sank enough that the car's oil pan hit the manhole and took out the oil pan and spread oil all over the road, and had to be towed off and to get repaired. I mean, that's a bad day for anyone that's just living in their own neighborhood, and the people that put the underground in a year or two prior to them moving into the house now has settlement, and they've just lost their ability to drive somewhere because of the failure of someone to do their compaction correctly. So there are other examples of this. I've got some here in my own housing tract that I live in. I do plan on at some point getting out there and getting some photos of the manholes, the sinkage of manholes around it. That's a perfect description of what I just talked about. And my little Honda that's pretty low to the ground, I have to drive around those potholes to make sure I don't lose my oil pan on my car. So that's just how things are. There's the wiggle. Okay, so this is from the previous day. So you can see this wiggle up here. Right, there we are. So you can see I picked up the trench right somewhere back in here and took off. This is a low point. The ground was going uneven back and forth. and you can see it's higher on the right hand side than it is on the left hand side. I made an attempt at leveling myself. Obviously, I didn't do a good enough job of doing it, and hence the wiggle. If it's bad enough and it's necessary enough, the thing to do would be, as soon as you notice it, you go back, you trim the wall out and get it, try to straighten it out as best you can. In the situation we're in, it's not the end of the world that's going to be there. We have GPS, they'll track all that, and it'll be logged, and the city or whoever, the county, will know that that little wiggle is there. And this is in a area where no development is going to happen. So there's no worry of someone else coming through with another pipeline next to us and hitting the pipe at some point. The area that we're working in is considered a preserve, and we had all kinds of regulations that we have to follow to be able to dig through that area. That's why it took us so long to get to this section of the job. Oh, just got more photos of same old stuff. I don't think there's anything in here you guys haven't seen. Don't want to click on anything that I'm not sure of. So, I don't know. I don't know what to talk about anymore. I'm pretty much, we can talk about cars or something, but I don't think that's a big thing for you guys. I appreciate you guys coming out and watching, but I wish I could get you guys to interact a little more. You guys need to, because you're probably watching this on a TV or a pad or something. I don't know. That I do everything on PC, so I always have a keyboard and stuff in front of me. I try to reply to a lot of people's videos because it helps them out. It helps out the algorithm. So, other than that, guys, I really don't have a whole lot to talk about. So, and I'm going to say that again and again until I'm done. There we are. Okay, go back over here. So, unless you guys come up with something to talk about for me, and this is another thing. So I've got Facebook, Messenger. You guys can get a hold of me on. All that should be in my description somewhere. I don't have a description for this yet. I don't think, or do I? I do. Okay, so down in the description, I've got a link for an application called Sircles. You guys can click on that link and it'll direct you to the application for your device and allow you to send messages directly to me through that device. We can share photos through it. There's also Instagram. I post stuff on Instagram. You can contact me through that, through this system, through YouTube. And also Facebook. I have the Lever Monkey Facebook page, which is actually probably the easiest one to contact me through on Messenger. You can just send me a message through there. And then I also have a Discord. Link is in the description as well. So I've got one or two guys that'll come into the Discord once in a while. I post photos in there, links to all the videos. And if you want to chat, you can actually have a offline chat where we're not here in the video, and you can come up with other things that we can bring up, and I can take notes live as you guys talk to me. It's like a phone call. So that's probably the most direct contact you can get with me is through my Discord. How long will it take you to finish the project that you are currently doing with the pipe that you sent me on a messenger? Well, okay, so our main line is all in. We got a few connections to do. We have to go back and we have to do all the valves for the job. That still needs to be done. We still have to put in the last couple of manholes that will tie into that last tie-in point that I showed you in the pictures. So that'll take a few days to finish that, but all the valving that we have to put in, we have to dig down to the pipe, cut pipe out, put the valving system in, put a big concrete structure that goes around all those. We just call it a box, and then backfill those. So we've got a few more weeks, maybe a month left. The micro tunnel is underway. I have not had a chance to get over to what they are doing. What they're doing is pretty cool right now. They're doing their shoring. And what they're doing for their shoring is they've made a 30-foot round circle of concrete. They poured it above ground, and they put a little excavator in the middle of it, and they dig, and then they have a crane with a bucket that cranes the dirt out of the hole. And as they dig, this huge 2-foot thick concrete structure that goes all the way around this hole, it slides down into the ground as they're digging down. And now what this is doing, they've got dewatering wells all around it to get rid of water, the groundwater that it's dealing with. And the whole concrete structure just slides down, slides down, slides down. This is going to seal the whole trench, and it's probably one of the best ways of doing shoring in that situation. I'm hoping to get over there when they start doing the micro tunnel, because they got to drop their drill rig down into the bottom of the hole. I think they're I think they're around 28 feet deep is where they're going to be. And I know the water table is around 14 feet or so. So they've got a lot of wet ground that they have to deal with. So it'll be interesting to see where they go and what they do. And I need to get over there to get some videos, some photos for you guys. And that's going to be ongoing for another month or two while I'm out there. So I'm hoping to get over and grab a few shots of that. How long will it take you to finish? Okay, I already answered that one. Waylon, and most new operators don't know the boom is not always centered. Dude, you have no idea. I tried to explain this because Andy, he's my ground man, and he was always bitching that you're not sitting on center. And this is before I had done the measurements and showed him where and why I don't sit centered on my center line marks. And when I showed him, and I should do a video on this and show that, measure outside of track or inside of the track, paint a mark on the center of your frame underneath the machine, and then you get the house and everything squared up with the on the excavator. And now the toy probably is not offset. Actually, you know what? It is. No, it's not. Well, trying to show that so the boom will not always be in the center line of the machine. So like a lot of the machines, they're 4 to 6 inches off center, which is, it took me a while to figure that out, because when I first started digging, I'd get the machine on center, and my ground man or the foreman, they were all saying, hey, you're like 3 inches off center, or 4 inches off center, the manhole's not centered, you gotta get back on center. So then I was digging a little bit crooked to try to keep it on center, and then I forget who mentioned it to me, but someone had said, hey, measure your rig for the center of the boom and find out where it is, and give yourself a paint mark on your frame, and then that way you know how to line up your machine. I measured it, I put the paint marks on the subframe, and I go, holy crap, the boom is like 6 inches off center. So I just started setting up 6 inches off center, and man, I am having a rough time this morning. And all of a sudden, all my trench lines are dead center. And sometimes my boss will come by and measure it out. We'll pull off the stake and drop a plumb bob or a rock and see if the trench is on center. We're on center. We keep going. I give them a look, and I just keep going. Yeah, the toy is a model of a big machine. It's smaller ones that are offset. Yes, they are. So, and I don't have any of the smaller ones. I got a 365 over there. This is a monster. This is a 5110 model. I want to get some of the other machines. I hate Cabelco, but I'm thinking I might need to get a couple of those just for display and just for examples. So maybe one day I'll order a couple of those off the site, but they're not cheap. So, all right. Well, it's been we got 30 minutes in. It's what I wanted to get in today, because I'm still editing a video for you guys, trying to get that done. So that way you have a video today. I'll probably launch it around noon, Pacific time. So keep an eye out for the video later today, and have a nice rest of your weekend and enjoy your days off. We'll talk to you later. And as always, keep your butt level and your ditch straight.